Okay. What does a rhino sound like? What does a neocon sound like? And what does a real conservative or a real, let's say, a real constitutionalist sound like? That's hard to say. I don't know, but I've seen a lot of them. Usually, the ones it's the ones that are too spit shine polished and too prepared are the ones I worry about. They come too prepared. A lot of them, I think, are briefed by the people in the party who they want to win. Who wants them to win. So they'll say, "Here, we're going to ask you this question. We're going to ask you," like Hillary did, when she was running with the NC, when she was running for the Democratic nomination. They're being briefed. They're being prepped, and you can tell. Usually, the young guys or the young girls, they sound like they don't sound like they're running for they're running for office, but they sound like they're giving a valedictorian speech in high school graduation. You got to watch out for that. Okay, be very, very skeptical. Okay, of these kinds of people. Not that they're bad. Not that they're going to try to make a presentation. They're going to try to win you over on the way they look, on the way they act. Yeah, that's a good looking guy. That's a great looking girl. That's who we want in there. Some a woman. A woman with strong background. Fighter. She's going to be on our side, like a Liz Cheney. That's the kind of girl we want. And then you find out that too late that they weren't in your camp. They didn't care about you or care about the issues that you cared about. And unfortunately, it's going to happen. We're never going to get rid of it. We're never going to be. It's not a perfect system, but you got to be careful. You got to ask the right questions, and you got to make sure that they're being asked the tough questions. And you have to make sure in your party, when you're in these meetings, that you get to the party that's the guys who are running the party. Make sure that they're selecting these candidates, that they're asking the tough questions. But write the slate of questions in advance. Okay? What did you do in college? What did you believe in? What did you write about? They have military service? That's great. That's a huge, huge point. Military service is always great. Did they work for the military intelligence? I mean, nothing wrong with that. It's okay, but think about it. Military intelligence system. They were in the Signal Corps. I don't think it's called the Signal Corps anymore, but this was the problem with John Woodward. Remember John Woodward? He was the Pulitzer Prize winning journalist who came out of nowhere and broke the Watergate story wide open. Okay, he was a naval intelligence officer. A lot of people don't know that. And I found that out when I was in college. I was trying to find my way through this whole Watergate thing, and by the time I got out of college, it became crystal clear to me as to what really happened. And Nixon had to resign because I don't want to get off on a tangent. He had to resign because he was spying on another man's on a Democrat's candidacy. Okay, he got impeached for that, and he's still getting impeached to this day. For spying on the Democrats during a campaign. So you see how it happens when it's the other way around, or when they think it's the other way around, or how they're trying to wish it is the other way around. They wish that Trump could get caught like Nixon did. Trump didn't do anything like Nixon did, so they can't get him. But nevertheless, military background is good, A+, but just be careful. Okay, just be careful. We want to reward, of course, law enforcement, FBI, guys like that who served in the FBI, served in the law enforcement. Always good, but again, you got to be careful here. Our concern is the Constitution. That should be our main concern: to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. That's the main job of these people. And if they can't do that, if they can't answer questions about the Constitution, then you got a problem. For example, most importantly, the Constitution states that all those powers that were not justly given to the federal government belong to the states. Are resolved to go back to the states. We keep giving the federal government power, and how they're getting power is through, thanks to Marbury versus Madison, is through precedent. If you don't challenge them, if they make a statement in Supreme Court, they're not challenged, and they say that you're you you no longer have this right. Your gun rights are being terminated. You have to have a license to own a gun, kind of thing. They start some kind of business like that, and they're not challenged. It becomes law. It becomes part of the Constitution, whether we like it or not. It becomes precedent. Read how these guys think, how these lawyers think. They go by court decisions, court rulings, even if they're bold. How do you think we got slavery for so many years? I think we got that. It was totally unconstitutional, but it was the law of the land. Okay, a lot of people feel the same way about abortion. I do too. I think it's allowable because no one effectively challenged them. They say it's okay. First trimester, second trimester, third. They make up all kinds of things. That's not in the Constitution. There's no trimesters in the Constitution. It's either you have abortion or you don't have abortion. But they're hedging it. They know it wouldn't have flown if you can kill a child when he's 9 months old. Now you can. And if that's not challenged, that'll be the law. Okay? So you got to be very careful. These are the people that you have to vet and find out, are they going to be stupid and not challenge this kind of stuff? Don't be afraid. We have too many people that are afraid, and I'm one of them. I admit it. When I'm with someone who has advanced degrees and is very smart and polished and elite, I sometimes cower. I sometimes can't get the words out. I find myself stuttering. I can't seem to challenge him effectively. I always look stupid, foolish. But you have to start doing it. Practice it. Go after these people. Ask the tough questions. Don't be mean. Don't be nasty. Just ask the question: do you believe in a woman's right to choose, or do you believe in the rule of life, in the right for an unborn child to come to term and to be born as a human being? They're going to have to answer that question. If they hedge, they're going to hedge. Well, in some cases, you hear about rape. Well, first of all, you hear rape and incest. Okay, that's the first red flag. Rape. There's no such thing as incest. I mean, there's incest, but that's not a reason. That's not an allowable reason for abortion. Incest can be between two cousins, two second cousins, or it can be between a brother and a sister, even if it's an adult relationship and a consensual relationship. It's just a relationship, but the child is it happens to be a child of a consensual relationship between a brother and a sister. Should that child be destroyed? That's the tough question. According to the abortion right to life people, no, the child has a right to life just like any other child. Well, it was incest. What's that have to do with it? Rape is different. Rape's a whole different issue. We really got to talk about that one, and that's a tough one. If a woman is raped and forced to give birth to a child that is not her with her spouse, then in my opinion, it's my heartfelt opinion that child still has a right to be born. But in some cases, in the early part of the after the rape, after the incident occurs, there's a medical procedure for making sure that pregnancy does not occur, or that if pregnancy does occur, it's stopped immediately. I'm not for that, if morally, but I think that it in a sense, when it comes to a late term abortion, I would prefer an earlier precaution or earlier method of protecting the woman from having a pregnancy occur in a situation where she feels that she was unjustly or illegally abused. But when you say rape and incest, they just want to throw a word in there. Incest is not an issue, okay? Unless she was abused by an older relative. Yes, that's rape then. That's not incest. That's rape. Incest is secondary. Okay, so that's one of the kinds of things you want to look for. It's a tough. This is going to be a tough issue going forward. I don't think we're ever going to be able to stop abortions altogether. But the problem is, from a constitutional standpoint, there is no right for an abortion in the Constitution. It's not the federal government's place. Sorry, guys. Hate to tell you, especially you guys on the right, you Democrats on the left. It's not in the Constitution. It's not in. There's a right to life in the Constitution, but there's no right to an abortion. Now, if there's no right to abortion, the federal government, the Supreme Court cannot take on that matter and make it theirs. That's not their place. They don't have that power. They can't rule. What they use what's called the 14th Amendment, I think, of the right to privacy. The woman has a right to privacy. That's their justification. She has a right to decide for herself what to do with her body. It's a privacy issue. Okay, it's a privacy issue. What it means is that no one has a right to tell anyone. You can't have a right for a woman and not for a man. There's no gender-based rights in the Constitution. So a right to privacy would be something like this: a woman has a right to contract and to consult with a duly licensed medical professional in her state to agree upon or come upon a procedure or process to terminate a pregnancy that has become troublesome to her, become problematic and impinges upon her life or quality of life, whatever. You can come up with the words. That's a state issue now. The state then has a right to decide in their state what the rules are for abortion. But now the Supreme Court says, no, you can't do that. Well, what happened to the right to privacy? Well, that's now that's become secondary. First was the primary issue to stop the state governments from impinging upon a woman's right to an abortion because of the right to privacy. Now, right to privacy is secondary. Now it's the abortion now has become itself enshrined in the Constitution. See how that works? It wasn't meant to be that way, and now we're stuck with it. Now we have to when they're afraid to go after Roe v. Wade because they're afraid it's going to destroy any chance of ever winning an election. I don't know about that, guys. I think it's going to be the other way around much sooner than you think. Pretty soon, because I think the left is losing big time. I think this last caper they pulled, if they're not able to secure this government really securely in the next 2 years, I think they're going to have trouble. They really do. I think it's going to be a big boom time for conservatives. That's my opinion. Again, it could be wishful thinking, but I just have a sensibility about it. The most important thing is got to get control of this election system. We got to get in there and get people in there that's going to fight to keep clearing the election system out. I don't think the Democrats, the people on the left, are all that popular. I don't think they ever really were. I think those voting machines are a big help to them. But we'll see what's going to happen. God bless America.